Yeah, so today under this chapter, we are going to discuss what is the origin of life, from where the life has been created, and theories of origin of life, because different scientists, they propose different theories for this origin of life, and what are the evidences available for evolution. Okay, so even though many have proposed so many theories, they have to prove with so many experiments. So what are all the theories and what are rejected theories and what are accepted theories? Let us learn today. And the last topic is evidences for evolution. Yeah. So first, what do you mean by evolution? That is, evolution is orderly change from one form to another. Okay, because everything is getting changed day by day. Everything is getting changed. Not only climatic conditions, all the uh, facilities available in the habitat for that particular organism is changing day by day. So based on that changes, the organism is getting evolved. It is also getting changed and getting adaptations to the changed environment. That is called as evolution. And what do you mean by this evolutionary biology? Study of this evolutionary steps and history of life, which is formed from the earth, is called as evolutionary biology. Yeah. See, each and every point is very much important. So the first theory was Big Bang theory. First theory was Big Bang theory. And this theory, it states that the universe originated about 20 billion years ago. Just a huge explosion happened. That is cosmic explosion, or else you can say thermonuclear explosion. Cosmic or thermonuclear explosion happened. So when this happened, the temperature was very high. The temperature was very high. So after that, when this temperature gets reduced, that is cooling down, that leads to the formation of life. So that was the concept of this theory. Okay, but exactly the earth was formed about 4.5 billion years ago, and during the time of formation of earth, there was no atmosphere. Okay, and again, first universe formed. What do you mean by universe? So universe, which is comprises of so many galaxies. So what do you mean by these galaxies? Universe has so many galaxies. So galaxies, they have, yeah, stars, gases, atmosphere, okay, planet. Okay, so here if you take our earth, again it comes in the solar system, which is called as Milky Way. So earth, if you take, that comes under the galaxy Milky Way. Okay, yeah. So let us see first how the molecules are formed. So because of this cooling effect, when the temperature is getting reduced, different molecules have been formed automatically. Okay, that is water vapor, methane, carbon dioxide, ammonia. They were released from the molten mass covered the surface, and again from sun, cosmic rays have been coming, reaching. Okay, so these rays, they broke up water, and water is broken into hydrogen and oxygen. So again, this oxygen, it combined with ammonia and methane to form water and carbon dioxide and other molecules also. Okay, so after that, this oxygen, that is, you can say, ozone is created. So this ozone layer is also very much important, which is protecting the earth. Okay, and again, when again the temperature is getting lowered, water vapor, it get condensed and rain started. So due to this rains, oceans, water bodies have been developed. Okay, so that is life appeared almost 4 billion years ago, that is 500 million years after the formation of the earth, was the conclusion by this theory. So it is clear now, that is because of huge explosion, which is thermonuclear, the molecules have been formed and the cooling effects created water and water bodies. Okay, so this is how the earth is formed. Yeah, so other than that, so many theories have been proposed by different scientists: theory of abiogenesis, theory of biogenesis, panspermia, that is theory of creationism, and chemical evolution. Let us see one by one. So first theory, theory of spontaneous generation or abiogenesis. So the name itself indicates that abiogenesis means non-living to living. Non-living to living. So this theory was proposed by von Helmont, and he stated that all the living organisms have been evolved from non-living things. Okay, that is, life came out of decaying and rotting matter like straw, mud, etc. And again, later, it was rejected because so many scientists proved this theory, rejection of this theory by so many experiments. Okay, so again he was believing like just when he so when he wore a shirt with full of sweat and he kept wheat in that shirt and he observed some living organisms in that, so he concluded like previously, and again later he showed that life did not come from killed yeast in a closed pre-sterilized flask. So he has taken two flasks. One he kept closed. Okay, and when he kept opened, in that he found microorganisms. That is, first he took a sterilized flask and added killed yeast and he kept that opened, and again one more flask he has taken and yeast but closed. The same conditions he has provided for both the flask, but here there is no life. Okay, so like that, so many experiments have been conducted for rejecting this abiogenesis theory. So first one is using meat ready. So what he did, the same way, he took meat and boiled it, and in one flask, same meat. So boiled and kept. After few days, in this he found flies, and after few days maggots also he found. Okay, but here no life, living forms. And in the same way, Spallanzani, he took veg broth, veg and meat broth alone. So broth, you know, that is the extract. After boiling meat and vegetables, the water is called as broth. And again, in the same way, he also proved like only in the flask which he kept open, in that life forms, he found out, not in the closed one. And later, Louis Pasteur, he did swan neck experiment in that. Yeah, so one flask, normal flask he has taken, and another one, this is called as swan neck flask. Okay, in the same way, he took some broth and again he heated it. Okay, so heated, and after that he left. Again in the opened form, he found out living organisms. But here, if you take, here due to the boiling, the water vapors, okay, steam was coming out of this swan neck flask, and here the water vapor, it prevents the entry of living organisms. So that was the reason why, again, in this flask no life was existing after he broke this swan neck. Okay. Yeah. So after that, after a few days, he found out living organisms. So from all of these experiments, it was clear that the living organisms, the life exists from pre-living life. So this was the conclusion made, and these are the experiments conducted to reject this abiogenesis theory. Yeah, so next is theory of biogenesis. So all these, the previously mentioned Francisco Reddy, Spallanzani, and Louis Pasteur. Okay, so these three, based on the previous experiments, what I have explained, they concluded that theory of biogenesis is possible. That is, life originates only from pre-existing life, not from the non-living things. Okay, yeah. But here, this theory was also rejected because they have explained like from where the life is originating, but the exact origin of life, they didn't explain. From where the first living organism was developed, they didn't explain. So this theory was also rejected. And later, third theory, cosmic theory or panspermia. So here, some scientists, they believe like the unit of life in the form of spores, they have been transferred from different planets. And like that only in Earth, some spores reached from some other planets. From those spores, the life formed. So even nowadays, some scientists, they are believing like the spores have been transferred from different planets, and from that only the life has been originated. And next is theory of special creation. And again, this is also rejected because this states that like some supernatural power, God created everything. But there was no proof for that. Okay, so this theory was also rejected. And the last one is theory of chemical evolution. So this was proposed by Oparin and Haldane. And these two scientists, again, they did one experiment. Okay, that is first form of life originated from non-living inorganic and organic molecules. So first what happened means that is simple organic molecules formed. Sorry, inorganic. Simple inorganic molecules they formed. Okay, so how this happened means that is, as they explained previously, due to the cooling effect, like simple organic substances have been formed. Okay, that is like yeah, hydrogen first formed, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, like this. Okay, simple organic inorganic substances have been developed, and after that simple organic substances, that is by combining these two, like ammonia, methane, and we can say carbon dioxide, water, like that. And after that, the complex. Okay, so how this is happening means whenever the temperature of that, after that Big Bang explosion, after that the cooling effect made these changes. And again, complex organic substances developed, complex organic molecules developed. So what do you mean by complex organic molecules? Like, as we know now, carbohydrates, proteins, nucleic acids, and fat. Okay, so here again the debate. Okay, which was first originated. So again, they proved like that is these complex molecules, they can evolve into a life when they are having few qualities. So what are those qualities? If you take, they should have some evolving nature, and one more thing, multiplication, duplication property should be there. So based on those properties, first it was concluded like that is presence of duplicating molecule and energy is also needed. Okay, and again isolation from general environment. Even though if you are isolating it, it should survive. Okay, so these are the criteria for the organic molecule which can evolve into life. Okay, so based on that, first created was RNA world. First created was RNA world because it was fulfilling all the criteria. And again, if you take a living organism, now we very well know that each and every reactions are carrying out by enzymes. So how without enzymes it was possible? Again, one question arose. So again, here this RNA, it is acting like nucleic acid. Many of the viruses have been proved like they are the genetic material is RNA, retroviruses or reoviruses you can say. And again, these are having catalytic activity also. Sorry, catalytic activity also, for example, ribosome. So later, this leads to the development of DNA. Then from RNA, DNA evolved, and again from DNA, proteins. We know central dogma of molecular biology. So from DNA, again proteins were developed, and again that is due to the evolution, so many different types of nutrition followed by organisms that leads to the production of carbohydrates. So this is called the chemical evolution theory. Let us see how they proved that is organic molecules have been generated. Okay, so abiogenesis first, then from these non-living things, biogenesis happened. That was the concept explained by Oparin and Haldane. Let us see. There is one more experiment have been conducted to prove this. That is UREY and Miller experiment. Harold Urey and Stanley Miller. They were American scientists. They proved this by UREY-MILLER experiment in the year 1953. Okay, and again, see, like they created the exact condition of primitive Earth by providing high temperature and volcanic storms. Okay, that is here they have taken a small flask with ocean water and they were heating this. Here the sampling, addition of sample they made here, and again here one vacuum pump they have added, and for sample collection they had a probe, and here again one more flask. In this they created almost 80 degrees C by using electrodes. Okay, so again they have added these four water molecules: methane, ammonia, and hydrogen. Okay, so these, that is, they believe that these are the simpler molecules which were present in the primitive atmosphere, in the early atmosphere. So after that, again below that, condenser, coolant, you can say like that. Okay, so after some time they found out these molecules combine to form amino acids. Okay, here in this slide, how they will ask questions: what are all the molecules taken for the UREY-MILLER experiment? These four. And how much temperature they have been providing for this experiment, and what are the amino acids they formed: glycine, alanine, and aspartate, and in what ratio they have taken methane, ammonia, and hydrogen. 2:1. Yeah, 2:1:2. Yeah, these are the important questions you have to remember during this during learning this UREY-MILLER experiment. Okay, and in the same way, that is after that, many scientists, they conducted similar experiments to prove different sugars have been formed, and again nitrogen bases, that is purine and pyrimidine bases, have been developed by adding different combination of molecules into that flask, purine and pyrimidine. Okay, so again, by the same concept, Calvin Melvin, one more example, in 1958, after UREY-MILLER experiment, he has taken carbon dioxide and water, and he proved that the bigger molecules have been formed, formic acid, succinic acid, and oxalic acid. So like this, they proved the smaller substances combined due to the environment which was available in the atmosphere to produce this little bigger molecules. Okay, so and after that, again these molecules combine to form bigger molecules. So from these amino acids, proteins formed. Okay, so like that, again this concludes that the chemical evolution is important, and again these proteins, carbohydrates, nucleic acids are necessary for living. Yeah, so next is the first non-cellular forms of life originated 3 billion years ago. 3 billion years ago, because different time they believed like the earth originated, the life originated these many years before. Like that, each and every scientist, they propose different time period. Okay, so they were self-replicating metabolic capsule containing macromolecules like RNA, proteins, and polysaccharides. This is what we have seen, how they were formed previously. And that is, next is theory of special creation, has 3 ideas, 3 connotations. So what do you mean by this theory of special creation? As I told, all the living things created as such, okay, by God, you can say. And again, one more thing, the diversity was same in older days and now. Means that is, all the organisms which are present now, they were existing from the day one. In such a way, God has created. Okay, and again, the earth is about 4,000 years old. So these are the 3 ideas given by this special creation theory. But later, when Charles Darwin, he was traveling by the ship named HMS Beagle. So in one, that is 2 years before this question, they asked the ship, the name of the ship traveled by Charles Darwin, HMS Beagle. Okay, so when he was traveling around the world, he proposed natural selection as mechanism of evolution. So what he found was, that is, the species diversity is there, but again, some species have been lost, some species which were present in the early days, they were lost, and new species added. New species added to the earth. Okay, so here this is very much important, and again he concluded like survival of fittest. That is, when so many species are there in a habitat, again those who can adapt and those who can survive, they will continue their life. Those species have been continued. Okay, so this is called as natural selection, and this is the mechanism of evolution that was proposed by Charles Darwin. And again, the same conclusion was in the same period, Alfred Wallace. So again, he did experiments, and again in an island, Malay archipelago. So this also you should remember, everything is given in NCERT. So Alfred Wallace, Malay archipelago island. So after doing research in this island, he also came to a same conclusion in that period. But again, these 2 scientists, they concluded like Earth formed billions of years ago, not from 4,000 years. So this was not true. Okay. Yeah, so that's all about the theories of origin of life. Okay, so first, non-living things developed, and from non-living things, living things formed. So due to the combination of different molecules, everything was originated. Yeah, so what are the evidences for evolution? So let us see, because we cannot simply propose any theories, and we should provide some evidences also. So what are all the evidences available? First one is paleontological evidence. Yeah. Yes, before this, I wish to inform you only one thing. So here again, they have concluded. Yeah. So first, like chemoautotrophic organisms have been developed. Okay, what is the meaning of chemoautotrophs? Again, by using these chemicals, they convert them into the needed molecules. And second is again, sorry, first is chemoheterotrophs. Yeah, let me explain. First is heterotrophs. Heterotrophs means they used first the available chemicals and they started living. And after that, chemoautotrophs developed. So here, by using those chemicals available, they created whatever the molecules they need. That is called as chemoautotrophs. And third one is photoautotrophs. So this, you know, what is photoautotrophs? Plants, you can say. So from chemoheterotrophs, chemoautotrophs have been evolved. From chemoautotrophs, again photoautotrophs have been evolved, and later heterotrophs. Okay, so what do you mean by heterotrophs? You know. Okay, so they depend on photoautotrophs. So this is like how the evolution happened. Yeah. So next, let us come to the evidences. Again, paleontological evidences. So paleontology, what do you mean by paleontology? First, a study of fossils. Okay, what do you mean by fossils again? They are the remnants of life found in rocks, found in Earth's crust, you can say. Okay, so wherever we are finding the remnants of life, like bones, okay, or else even when we, that is late, uh, during the time, that is some of the uh, remnants have been present in the rocks also. So, and even we can collect them freely also, bones we can collect. And again, this is the fossils are the written documents for evolution. And we can find what are the significance of fossils. And that is first, to study phylogeny. What do you mean by phylogeny? The years, how they are getting evolved. For many years, how they are getting evolved. So how many years have been taken for one species to get evolved to the present condition? Okay, for example, horse evolution. And again, how two different species are getting linked. What are all the different qualities shared by two different groups of organisms? For example, Archaeopteryx. So Archaeopteryx, this is Archaeopteryx. So this is considered as a connecting link between reptiles and birds, as it is having the qualities of both reptiles and birds. Okay, so these are the important significance of fossil. By studying a fossil, we can get the phylogeny. Second thing, we can get the link between two groups. What are all the qualities existing among two different groups, similar qualities and different qualities, and to study about extinct animals, for example, dinosaurs. So how they come to a conclusion that a group of organisms called dinosaurs were living based on the collection of these fossils. And again, to study about the geological period by analyzing fossils in sedimentary rock layers. Okay, so when, how many years before those organisms were living, that also we can get confirmation with the help of this, by studying these fossils. Okay, yeah, that's all about paleontological evidence. Second one is morphological and anatomical evidences. So here again, we have to compare the anatomy and morphology of different organisms, different species. Okay, so by comparing them, how they have been evolved and why they have been evolved, and what are all the common features, what are all the different features they have. So based on this, we can conclude at what time they have uh, they lived on the earth. And again, first in that also two different concepts are there. One is homologous organs or homology, you can see. See here, this is very important. Here, if you take two different species, again, the organs having fundamental similarities in the structure. Yeah, so the organs having fundamental similarity in the structure on origin, but they have different functions. Okay, so origin and structure same, but function differs. So this is called as homology. For example, human hand, whale's flippers, bat's wing, cheetah's foot. Okay, so here they have different functions. So flippers, you know, the flippers, they used to swim, but human hand, we used to hold all the things like that. But bat's wing, which is having the same structure, it used to fly. Cheetah's foot for running. So they have different function, but if you see the anatomy, they are having the same structures, like all are having humerus, radius, ulna, carpals, metacarpals, phalanges, all are present in these organisms. That is forewing alone, if you take, they have anatomical and structural similarity, but they are doing different function. Okay, yeah. So, for example, homology is also seen in heart and brain also. And again, in plants, if you take, thorns and tendrils of bougainvillea and cucurbita. So origin of homologous origin is due to divergent evolution. Due to divergent evolution. So previously they were living in the same species, and based on the need, they have been evolved. Okay, and again, though they are different function, they have humerus, ulna, radius, carpals, and metacarpals. Divergent evolution is the evolution by which related species become less similar to survive. If you compare now the whales and bats, they are totally different. They are totally different. So this is called as divergent evolution. Okay. Yeah. So because you just like you can compare. Yeah, that is whales, flippers, and bat swing. So based on the need and based on the environment where they are living, they are getting evolved. That's it. Okay. Yeah. And again, next is analogous. So analogous organs means these organs having similar function but different in their structure, opposite, exactly opposite to homology. And this is called as convergent evolution. So different structures, but they have similar functions. Different structures, but they have similar functions. And again, these different structures, they have been evolved from different species, but they are doing the same function. This is called as analogous and convergent evolution. For example, wings of insects and wings of birds. See, formed of a thin flap of chitin, and here it is wings of birds modified forelimbs. Exactly, if you see the structure of wings of insects and wings of birds, totally different. Totally different. There are no bones. Here, bones are there in wings, but they are doing that is same function is for flying. This is called as analogy. And one more, eyes of octopus. All these examples have been given in NCERT. Please remember to confuse, they will mix both the analogous and homologous organs. Okay, yeah, eyes of octopus and mammals. and flipper of penguins and dolphins, sweet potato and potato. So here sweet potato modified root, potato modified stem. So structurally they differ, but function storage of food. Trachea of insect, lung of vertebrates, totally different. Trachea of insects, just they are having tracheoles and simple structure. Okay, but here vertebrates, they are developed from endoderm, and these are developing from ectoderm, germinal layers, and here the lungs, it is having complicated structure, but both are the organs doing same function, like exchange of gases. So these are the important things you have to remember for convergent evolution. That is, structure differ, function same. Homology, same structure, different function. And that is divergent evolution. This is convergent evolution. Yeah, see, I have given examples. See here how they have been evolved, like bat that is having this structure wave. If you take flippers, and again cheetah, forelimb, if you take it, is almost similar to that of the man. And again, this is thorns of bougainvillea and cucurbita. Okay, so from horn, it is having some spring-like structure. This is for climbing. Okay, having same structure but differ in their function. This is protection, thorn, protection from predators. This is again from, that is same structure but for climbing. I mean for climbers will be having this tendrils. Yeah, so that's all about morphological and anatomical evidences. So we have completed paleontological and morphological and anatomical evidences. The third thing is biochemical evidences. See, if you take the blood of two different species, blood, if you collect human blood and monkeys, okay, and even lion or tiger, see, many of the components are same, which are present in these organisms. Like proteins will be there, genes genes are present in the nucleus, and other biomolecules like carbohydrates will be there, fat will be there. Okay, so all these indicates that they are all came from common ancestry. Okay, and again, fourth is biogeographical evidence. So here again, here also you should remember the examples. So what do you mean by biogeographical evidences? I think you know what is endemic. So endemic organisms are living in particular area. Living in particular area. Okay, so like that, biogeographical evidences proved like how the organisms have been evolved. First one is adaptive radiation. So adaptive radiation means evolution by adaptation. Adaptation means the situation is not same. If you compare the temperature just 50 years before and now, if you compare the pollution levels, and if you compare the number of trees, oxygen level, ozone depletion, everything is getting changed day by day. So because of that, adaptation is needed for each and every organisms. That is the evolution of different species in a geographical area. For example, Darwin's finches in Galapagos Island. So when Darwin visited this Galapagos Island, he found out the beaks of birds which is evolved from different shapes. That is, during first early days, they were eating only nuts. That is seeds you can say. So to carry out, that is to carry the nut and eat, seed and eat, the beaks were little broader. And after that, they got evolved into too many. See, different shades of beaks have been evolved. So now, just to pick the worms, small worms, it became very sharp. It was broad earlier, and for the situation and for surviving, it got evolved. Now it is very sharp. Okay, this is one example. And again, Australian marsupials. So that is marsupial radiation, you can say. See, there are, and again, placental mammals, they are present only in kangaroos. If you see, they are present only in Australia and New Zealand, nearby country. So in only in Australia and New Zealand, you can find most of the marsupials. Okay, and again, when more than one adaptive radiation is appeared in an isolated geographical area, it results in convergent evolution. For example, Australian marsupials and placental mammals, you can say. So placental mammals, example, mole, anteater, mouse, a lemur, flying squirrel, bobcat, wolf. And for Australian marsupials, marsupial mole, numbat, marsupial mouse, spotted cuscus, flying phalanger, and Tasmanian tiger and Tasmanian wolf. These are the examples for Australian marsupials and placental mammals which have been evolved. And last one is embryological evidences. So what do you mean by this embryological evidences? This was proposed by Ernst Haeckel. Okay, so he observed like all vertebrate embryos have some common features that are absent in the adult. So only in embryo, all the organisms are having same features. All the species are having, all the vertebrate embryos are having same features, but that features are not present in the adult form. Okay, see here again, what he explained was all the vertebrate embryos, for example, vestigial gill slits are present behind the head. Okay, but again, it was disappeared in human, but it is functional only in fish and not found in other adult vertebrates. Okay, but again, Carl Ernst, however, Carl Ernst von Baer, he rejected this proposal. There was no vestigial gill slits present in all of the vertebrates in the embryonic stage. Okay, so this theory, that is this embryological evidences which was proposed by Ernst Haeckel was rejected. Yeah, and again, evidences for natural, that is evolution by natural selection, which was proposed by Darwin, Charles Darwin. Okay, see in this, again, I explained about this. So natural selection is the process by which the organism, which can survive, which can change itself based on the environment, they can survive and reproduce in high level. So those species alone continue the life. So what are the examples? Let me explain. Here also it is very important. Examples you should remember: industrial melanism, first example. See, development of resistant varieties in organism against herbicides, pesticides, antibiotics, drugs, etc. We are seeing even nowadays the coronavirus, how it is getting evolved. Different strains of coronavirus we are finding daily. Why? Because we found vaccination against that organism. So we are trying to kill that organism, but it is proving like it should continue its life. So for that, it is getting adapted to different difficult environments like that. So even though many herbicides, pesticides, and antibiotics, see in previous days during the introduction of mosquito repellents, it was very useful. And again, nowadays the mosquitoes got evolved and they got adaptation for the repellents, chemicals what we are producing. Okay, so like that, herbicides, pesticides, and antibiotics to fight against these chemicals what the human beings are using, different species, they are getting evolved to produce different genes. Okay, that is mutation is happening and adaptation to adapt, different changes are happening in the organisms. Okay, yeah. So most of the anthropogenic actions are reason for the evolution nowadays. So first one, industrial melanism. It happened in England. see, England in 1850s, there were no that many industries in England. So during that time, many of the white-winged moths on trees they found. Okay, because the tree, again, it is very light brown in color. It was light brown in color. And after that, due to the pollution, due to industrialization in the year 1920, after 70 years, if you take, the tree bark color have been changed to dark brown. So automatically, when the color is getting changed, it is visible. Clearly, it is visible when the butterflies were in white color. When the flies were in white color, it can be easily identified by the predators. Okay, so for that it evolved. Oh, okay, that is there was thick growth of white colored lichen covered tree. This is second example. So I think it is clear now. So from white to brown, it got evolved. Why? To escape from the predators. This is one evolution example, evidences of evolution by natural selection. So to survive in the changing environment, it got changed, okay, evolved. And again, one more thing is there was a thick growth of white colored lichen covered the trees. In that background, yeah, sorry, this is same again. White-winged moths survived, but the dark-colored moths were picked out by the predators. Because of that, yeah. So in this, again, this can be easily picked out when the tree and lichen, which is growing on the tree, when it is lighter in color and when the moths are darker, it can be destroyed by the predators. But when the color is getting matched with the bark, it is not easily identifiable. Okay, that is first. And again, tree trunks became dark due to the industrial smoke. That is the same. No lichens were there. So now the bark of that is trunks of the tree, it became very dark. So under this condition, white-winged moth did not survive. Okay, and again, dark-winged moth survived because of suitable dark background. That is, predators could not identify them. So this is natural selection. So survival of fittest. Okay, yeah. So this was proposed by Charles Darwin, survival of fittest in natural selection. Those who can survive and those who can evolve, those who can adapt, can live, can continue, can reproduce. And this is the major reason for evolution. Yes, that's all. And again, biological evidences we can see tomorrow. Okay, yeah, let us have a glance. So what are the theories you have to remember? Yeah, what are the theories you have to remember? Big Bang theory, cosmic or thermonuclear explosion leads to the production of, that is, release of small molecules, and they combine due to the cooling effect of Earth. They combined and form smaller molecules first, and again smaller molecules combine to form larger molecules. And again, the rays which are coming from the sun, they broke up molecules, different molecules, and different combination of those molecules also formed. Okay, that is again water developed from hydrogen and oxygen combination, and ozone layer developed by the combination of oxygen molecules. Okay, and after that, abiogenesis, spontaneous generation. Here they stated like the non-living things. From non-living things, only living things have been generated, but there was no proof for that. And again, it was clearly stated like life exists only from pre-existing life. 3 different experiments have been carried out by Reddy, Spallanzani, and Louis Pasteur. And theory of biogenesis, again, first this was accepted, that is, whatever the explanation given by these scientists, by closing and opening the flask which they have been considered, but here they didn't explain the origin of first life, so it was also rejected. And next is panspermia, that is, spore like things have been reached the Earth are from different planets, and from those spurs life have been originated. This theory was also rejected. And again, theory of special creation, like supernatural powers were there. That is, the entire world, what we are seeing, was created previously by God. And later, theory of chemical evolution, it was proposed by O'Parrell and Haldane, and it was again proved by Miller-Urey experiment, like how the smaller molecules are combined to form bigger molecules, and what are the chemicals they have been taken, like water, methane, ammonia, and hydrogen, and these combine to form different amino acids. And again, what are the amino acids? Glycine, alanine, aspartate. These are the smaller molecules which are present in proteins, and like this, by different combination of different molecules, they developed sugars, monosaccharides, polysaccharides. From monosaccharides, polysaccharides have been developed, and again nitrogen bases. So nitrogen bases, by providing different, combining different substances, furan and pyrimidine bases have been developed, and from that nucleic acids evolved. And one more example, like different forms of acids like formic, succinic, and oxalic acids developed under the same conditions what Urey and Miller provided. That was proved by Calvin Melvin in the year 1958. And again, that is one more special creation theory. What are the idea they have given means all the things have been created as such. And again, whatever the world was existing on day one, we are seeing all the species. So this was proved wrong, and even we are having so many evidences for that. Like we are not having so many species which were there before 1,000 years, even 1,000 years. Okay. So again, this was rejected, and this was clearly explained by Charles Darwin by natural selection. As I told, that is the animals which can survive and adapt to the different environment, they can survive and continue the living. And the same was proposed by Alfred Wallace. Okay. Yeah. But again, the Earth formed billions of years ago, not before 4,000 years ago. Yeah, what are all the evidences available? One is paleontological fossils. So from fossils, what are all the significance we can get? We can connect the two different species and relate two different species. What are all the qualities they are sharing? Okay, and again, we can find out what is the connecting link between two different organisms. For example, Archaeopteryx. Archaeopteryx is the link between question you can get. Archaeopteryx is connecting link between reptiles and birds. And we can know about the extinct animals. That is, the lost animal died. Okay, now we are not having these species. Those organisms are called as extinct animals, and we can study and examine and clearly understand the extinct animals with the use of this paleontological evidences. Okay, yeah, so these are the major significances of this paleontological evidences like fossils. Yeah, next is morphological and anatomical evidences, and in this homology and analogy, you should remember what do you mean by homology. They have same structure and origin, but they differ in their function. Example is important. Okay, and again, this is also called as divergent evolution. And example in plants is important, and heart and brain also have homology in different species. Okay, and yeah, next is analogy. Analogy means they do similar function, but structurally they differ. Example, again important. So many examples we have seen. This is very much important. And again, yeah, so this is due to convergent evolution. Homology is due to divergent evolution, and analogy, if you take, it is due to convergent evolution. ACHD, you remember like that. You just remember this alone, AC. Okay, yeah. Next is biochemical evidences. Again, I explained, like if you compare the blood or any of the organ, like a kidney, if you compare. Okay, and again, biochemical evidences means what are all the things which are present in kidney, what is the function, everything. If you see, It indicates the common ancestry. They developed from the same ancestor. Yeah, biogeographical evidences, again, adaptive radiation. So adaptive radiation, how they, that is, they are adapted to particular geographical area. Okay, so again, only to the nearby region they have been spreaded. Example, Darwin finches in Galapagos Island, how they have evolved, we have seen. And again, Australian marsupials, they are existing only in Australia and New Zealand. And placental mammals and Australian marsupials, how they evolved. And again, embryological evidences, this was rejected. There were no vestigial gill slits in the embryonical stage of all vertebrates, so it was rejected. And again, by natural selection. So here Darwin, he stated, like, that is the organism which can fit into that environment and adapt into that environment can evolve and continue their life. This is called as natural selection. Example, industrial melanism. So we have seen two different, that is before industrialization, the lichens were on the tree and the tree color was like light shade. And in that condition, this brown moth, that is, it can be identified easily by the predators, not the white one. But after industrialization, after 70 years, 1920, the lichens died, and again only that is the bark of the tree was changed to dark brown. So in this condition, this white moth is easily identifiable. So again, it should get evolved. Okay, so that is, if it evolve, it can survive. That's all. This is called as natural selection. See, again, now it is having the similar color to that of the tree, so it cannot be identified. But now in this condition, it will be killed. So here previously, okay, so again, for this reason, it should get evolved. It shows some changes in its color to survive. Otherwise, it will be killed and destroyed by that it will become extinct by the predator action. Yeah, that's all. Do you have any doubt? Nandini? Himanshu? Do you have any doubt, dear Nandini? Clear now?
Yes,
see, this chapter is dry and you have to read and what to say, you have to remember all the examples. Okay.